Lunge exercises are good for both flexibility and for fitness. Today's exercise routine is a lunge mobility matrix that can use as a flexibility routine for a warm-up or help as a fitness part in transitioning to a workout, or you can add this into your workout to help out with strengthening and stability of the legs. The first exercise that's in this lunge mobility matrix is just a forward lunge. You're going to step into the forward lunge, step back. Important thing is to make sure to keep the knees and the toes in line. Make sure to keep the knees behind the toes as you step forward in the lunge. You're going to repeat that 10 to 20 times on each side. And then we're going to move into the lunge with the hip flexor stretch. The lunge with the hip flexor stretch is the same thing, stepping in the lunge, but this time you're going to rest your knee on the ground and you're going to push the hips forward, down into the stretch a little bit more, doing 10 circles to the left, followed by 10 circles to the right. Each circle trying to go a little bit deeper into the hip flexor stretch. You can do that on the one side, then you're going to switch to the other side, the 10 circles to the left, and then the 10 circles to the right. The next exercise that you're going to do is just the lateral lunge or the side lunge. Important one with this is to be able to keep your hips and your toes parallel to the direction you're facing. So as you step out to the side, you're going to keep your knees and your toes as close to parallel and your hips as close to parallel to the direction that you're facing. You're going to step out of that and step into the other side. After you do 10 of those on each side, then you're going into the lateral lunge or the side lunge with the extra rotation to load the hips and stretch the trunk a little bit more. One of the things you want to pay attention to when doing that side lunge with the rotational lunge is you want to try to load that into the hip as you do. So try to focus that load as you step into the hip here so that you can push out of that load when you come out of the lunge. The next lunge you're going to do is the hip opening lunge. So the hip opening lunge is you're going to keep your knee of your front leg pointed forward, and you're going to take the moving leg and you're going to open that knee and that toe up as far open as you can, trying to keep the stationary leg straight and still. Important thing to remember with that lunge is to make sure you're opening up from the hips. You're not trying to twist the knees or any other part of the body. You're trying to get the hips to open up to get that stretch. Now we do the same thing, but this time we're going to load that leg once again with a little bit more of a rotation of that leg. And as you get better and more comfortable with it, then as you load it, you can come out of it a little bit faster to try to get used to loading the leg and coming out of that load. Once again, just like with the side lunge, it's important to try to load into the hip. Make sure the hip and the glutes are doing the work, and you're not just twisting every other part of the body to try to get there and push out of it. The last lunge on the list is a reverse diagonal lunge. With this one, you're just going to step back across the midline of the body, trying to keep the knee and the toe in line, and your hips pointing as forward as you can. Load into the hip, step back out of it. Same thing on the other side, load in the hip, step back out of it. You're going to repeat that 10 times on each side, moving up to 20 times as you're able. As you work through the repetitions, you're going to work deeper into the stretch. So that by the time you get to the last repetition, you're as deep in the stretch as you feel like you're comfortable going. The important thing with this lunge mobility matrix is that everything is smooth and under control. No forceful motions. Don't force the motions that you can't control.